Welcome to the Web Report. My name is Stuart Webb. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about inflation. So inflation, we hear a lot about it. Most people, though, don't know what it is. It's not conveyed properly in the media. That's deliberately, that's on purpose. They don't want you to know what it actually is. They want it to be vague and kind of have to do with rising prices, but they don't really explain why prices are rising. Here's a very simple definition of what inflation is so that you can understand it when the media and people are using the term inflation. Inflation simply means an increase in the money supply. But it means an increase in the currency supply, because what we use right now, the US dollar, it's not money. It's not real money. It doesn't fulfill the requirements of money. So it's actually currency. Okay. So inflation, what it does, it's a hidden tax on your money or your currency, the unit of exchange that you use in commerce in the United States, which is the US dollar. So every time we increase the money supply, the value of your currency goes down. Especially, it goes down if you've increased the money supply without actually increasing goods or services along with it, and if the money supply or the currency supply is not tied to a real commodity. So right now we have the US dollar. That's what we use, right? That's our currency. It doesn't fulfill the three requirements to be actual money, okay? So the three requirements are a unit of account or a unit of measure, so something that you can actually measure an amount with. So like $1, that's $1, so you can measure it, right? Or what people perceive it as. So it's a unit of measure or unit of account, and it's also a medium of exchange. That's another requirement out of the three that you need. It's a medium of exchange, which means you can give it to someone, right? You can transfer it. It's transferable. You can exchange it. If you want something and the other person wants your dollar, you can give them that dollar and they'll give you something for it, so you can exchange it. But the third one, which is actually the most important one, is that in order for it to be money, it has to be a store of value as well. So the three requirements is unit of account, so you can count it, it can be counted, and a medium of exchange, which means you can exchange it, you can transfer it, which allows you to engage in commerce and trade and things like that. And then the third is a store of value. Okay? The problem is that the United States dollar is not a store of value. And the reason it's not a store of value is because you cannot redeem it for a actual commodity that has intrinsic value. You cannot. It's not tied to anything by law. It's not. You can't go into a bank and say, I'd like to exchange my dollar for a percentage of gold or a portion of gold. So we've been off the gold standard for over 50 years now, by law. And when that happened, the value of our currency went down dramatically, because now it's what's called a fiat currency. It's not tied to any real commodity. I mean, ultimately, if it would be better for our dollar to be tied to anything like a trinket, a widget, something that you could redeem it for, that was actually had some sort of physical value, even if it wasn't a lot of value. But some sort of a commodity, ideally, that is non-perishable, like gold or precious metals, right? And something that you can, so it's non-perishable, and you can trade, and it is useful in the market. It can be traded and exchanged, and that keeps its value. So right now, the United States dollar does not have a store of value. It is not something that if I store $1 million cash in a safe, it's only worth something if people are willing to accept it in commerce. And that is becoming less and less. That is being realized less and less, that people are less willing to take or view the dollar as having value. Okay, not just in the United States, but all around the world. Okay, so what we need to do as a society is we need to get back to either a gold standard or a commodity standard that allows our currency to actually have a store of value, which would make it more, it would fulfill, it would at least be closer to real money than it is now, because it is not money. It does not fulfill those three requirements. So simply put, inflation is really bad for the value of your money and your wealth, and it is a hidden tax on your wealth. And the market doesn't always realize the effects of inflation immediately. It usually takes a while. That's why we see rising prices and then skyrocketing prices, because the market is finally realizing the increase in the currency that is in circulation, and it's adjusting for that. It's correcting for that, because no more goods or services were produced when the government printed trillions of dollars. So the market is finally realizing what the correct amount should be for the goods and services relative to the value of the currency, or the what's in circulation. And one thing that I also wanted to talk about in regards to inflation and increasing the money supply, especially when you do it and it's not tied to any commodity or an increase in goods and services, it basically disincentivizes people to save money. Because why would you save money if it's constantly losing value? Why would you be concerned with saving if every single day your money is worth less, right? Why would you save? There's no incentive to save. It's not tied to a commodity or a store of value. That's the key. If you save money right now, if you're just saving cash like dollars, it's not a store of value. It could be worthless at any time. It really could. And people think people might think that's outlandish. It's not outlandish. It's happened over and over and over again throughout history. When you take a currency and you debase it, you make it fiat. You don't tie it to any commodity. It destroys the faith in the currency, because people trust it less and less to have value. And the only value the U.S. dollar has right now is the willingness that people have to accept it as money, right, in commerce. That is the only value that it has. Okay? And that can go away very quickly, and it's starting to go away very quickly. So it disincentivizes when you inflate the dollar, and you inflate the dollar, and you also have already taken it off a gold standard, which is tied to a commodity. It's a fiat currency. It's fake money. That's what fiat means. It's fake. Okay? The only value it has is what people are willing to. If people are willing to accept it, that's the value. So what this also does is it disincentivizes people to save, and it kills capital creation. If no one is saving money, okay, if no one is saving real money, then you can't loan out money to start businesses and to basically be entrepreneurs and to be entrepreneurial and to create new business, okay, and to produce more goods and services. It kills capital, because if no one's saving money, no one has money to loan, okay? And you cannot just print value into existence. It requires hard work, savings, and sacrifice. That's it. You cannot wish it into existence. Value is created by hard work, savings, and sacrifice. Okay, self-denial, practicing self-denial, delaying gratification, storing value, right? And you cannot store value if what you're storing has no value. Okay, so that's just a few thoughts that I had on inflation. Hopefully, you got something out of this. Um, this is we desperately as a society need to move towards a commodity based money system. Okay, it needs to be tied to something with real value that's non-perishable. I mean, I don't care if that's land. It's got to be something that you can hold in your hand that's non-perishable, that has some sort of store of value that can be exchanged, that can be a unit of account, something. And that's why precious metals are so obvious, the obvious choice, right? Because metals can be melted down and used for production of goods and services. Okay, metal is used in everything. It's and it doesn't go away. It's something that, it's not like a banana that will go bad and not be a banana anymore because it's perishable. Precious metals are the obvious choice for being money because it's easily transferable. You can weigh it, you can count it, and it has a store of value. You can put it in a safe, and 1,000 years it'll still be there, and you can still exchange it. And we need to recognize metal is used in everything. It's very important, and it's just the obvious choice for money. That's why it would be great if we could get back to a precious metals standard. It doesn't necessarily have to be gold, but precious metals, it's got to be something. Okay, so yeah, those are my thoughts on that today. Hope you got something out of this, and we'll be discussing a lot more of these topics going forward. Thanks.